Beyond right and wrong, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Rumi. The awakening of the soul does not always come with clarity or certainty. Sometimes it begins in the strange confusion where the mind struggles with what is right and what is wrong, what is holy and what is profane, what is worthy and what is shameful. You spend your days measuring yourself, your choices, and your life against these two poles. And yet, what Rumi whispers across centuries is something radical, something that shakes the ground beneath your feet. Beyond all of that, there is a field, and he promises to meet you there. This is not an escape from morality, nor is it the denial of truth. It is not the rejection of the law that guides the soul in its first steps. Rather, it is an invitation to something far deeper, to the spaciousness of love, to the embrace of the divine, where the categories of right and wrong dissolve, like snow melting under the spring sun. For in that place, there is only love, and love is too vast to be confined to the narrow borders of human judgment. You have felt this struggle, haven't you? The constant weighing of your own actions, the endless self-critique, the heavy burden of wondering, did I do the right thing or the wrong thing? You live in a world that feeds this anxiety, that demands you pick sides, define yourself by opinions, declare where you stand and defend it fiercely. And yet, your soul is tired of fighting. Somewhere within you, there is a longing for a place where this endless struggle softens. That is the field Rumi is speaking of. When you hear field, do not imagine merely a stretch of grass and earth. Imagine instead a vast openness, a horizon without walls, a silence that welcomes you as you are. This field is not bound by the categories of your mind. It is the expanse of God's mercy. The Quran says, "My mercy encompasses all things." All things, not just the right ones, not just the pure ones, but even the broken, the mistaken, the lost. This is the field. This is the place of meeting. Think for a moment, what is the nature of right and wrong? Right is that which aligns you with truth. Wrong is that which distances you from it. But who holds the measure of this? Is it your neighbor, your teacher, your own restless conscience? Yes, in part. Yet beyond all of these measures lies the gaze of God. And in that gaze, you are not reduced to your mistakes, nor elevated only by your successes. You are seen in fullness, and you are loved. That is the secret of the field. Rumi's words are not careless. He does not say, forget about right and wrong. He says, beyond right and wrong. That means you must walk through them, you must know them, you must wrestle with them, but you must not stop there. For if you stop at right and wrong, you will forever be a prisoner of comparison. But if you keep walking, you will reach the meadow where God is the only presence. And there, you will finally rest. Yunus Emre once said, "Come, let us meet in the gathering of love." Do you hear how his voice and Rumi's echo each other? They both point to a place beyond division. To meet someone in love is not to agree with them nor to excuse them, but to see them as clothed in the same mercy that clothes you. That is why Sufis speak not of judgment, but of union. In union, there is no right, no wrong, only belonging. But let me ask you, how do you walk toward that field? It is not on a map, nor does it appear when you search for it. The path begins inside you, in the small moments where you stop defending yourself, stop accusing yourself, and allow yourself to simply be. Perhaps tonight before you sleep, you might close your eyes and whisper, "Oh, beloved, take me beyond right and wrong. Take me to your field." In that prayer, you are already stepping into it. Modern life makes this field harder to see.
We live in a culture of constant judgment, likes and dislikes, followers and unfollows, approval and rejection. Every action is measured, every thought scrutinized. You are either celebrated or canceled, raised or crushed. This is a prison of right and wrong, and it leaves the soul weary. But remember, you are not meant to remain trapped there. You are meant to rise above it, to remember that your worth does not depend on the shifting judgments of others, but on the eternal gaze of the one who created you. I want to tell you a story. It is said that a Sufi master was once asked by his students, "How do we know if what we are doing is right or wrong?" The master smiled and said, "If it brings you closer to love, it is right. If it distances you from love, it is wrong. But beyond even that, there is a state where all things are transformed into love, and there the question disappears." The students were puzzled, but later as they sat in silence, they felt it, a peace where the need to measure faded and only presence remained. That silence was the field. So when Rumi says, "I'll meet you there," he is not merely describing a mystical vision, he is promising companionship. You are not walking alone. The saints, the masters, the lovers of God are all there, waiting for you, beckoning you into a freedom you have not yet tasted. This field is not far away. It is as near as your breath. When you let go of the constant judgment, when you stop chaining yourself to categories, you step into that vast openness. But perhaps you are thinking, if I go beyond right and wrong, will I not lose my way? Will I not fall into chaos? Listen carefully. Beyond right and wrong does not mean lawlessness. It means you are guided by something higher than law, by love itself. When a child loves its mother, it does not need a rule to tell it to stay close. The love itself is the guide. So too with God. When you fall into love with the divine, right action flows naturally, not because you fear punishment, but because your heart cannot bear to be apart from love. Rumi himself said, "Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there." When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Do you see? He is describing a silence beyond judgment, a fullness where words fail. Have you ever felt such a moment? Perhaps in prayer, or while looking at the sky, or holding the hand of someone you love. For a brief instant, all questions of right and wrong vanished and only presence remained. That was a glimpse of the field. And here's the truth. That field is not far away. It is not in the heavens, not in some distant land. It is here, now, in the heart that surrenders. The heart that says, "I am tired of dividing the world. I just want to belong to love." That heart has already entered the field. But to stay in that field is not easy. The mind pulls you back. It says, "No, you must choose. You must be right. You must avoid being wrong." The mind thrives on dualities, and it fears the spaciousness of love. Yet what the mind sees as dangerous, the soul recognizes as home. The field is not a loss of morality. It is the birth of a deeper morality, one rooted in compassion.
Let me tell you another story from the life of Rumi himself. One day, a man came to him, tormented by his sins. The man said, "I have done wrong. I am unworthy of God's mercy. What hope is there for me?" Rumi looked into his eyes and replied, "Your very feeling of unworthiness is the doorway. Step through it, for beyond right and wrong, there is a place where God himself waits for you. He is not counting your mistakes as you are. He is inviting you into his embrace. The man wept, and in that moment, his tears became a prayer. His prayer became surrender, and his surrender became peace. That is the miracle of the field. Do you see? The field is not earned by perfection. It is entered by surrender. You do not arrive there by being right enough or avoiding being wrong enough. You arrive there by laying down the sword of self-judgment and opening your arms to love. The lover of God does not walk with pride, but with humility. He knows that his right actions are nothing without God's grace, and his wrong actions are not enough to sever him from God's mercy. Yunus Emre has a beautiful verse. I am neither in the mosque nor the tavern. I am wherever you are. These words mirror Rumi's field. Right and wrong are like the mosque and the tavern, two sides that humans cling to. But Yunus says, neither defines me, only the presence of the beloved defines me. And wherever the beloved is, there I am. Think of your own life. How many times have you been crushed by guilt, by the feeling that you have failed? And how many times have you inflated yourself with pride when you believed you were right? Both are prisons. Guilt binds you, pride blinds you, but love frees you. Love says, come as you are. Sit in this field. Lay down both your pride and your guilt, for neither belongs to you. Only your longing belongs to you, and that longing is enough. I know in your heart you have felt this longing. Perhaps it comes in the quiet of the night when the world is silent and you feel a pull, a whisper, there is more. Perhaps it comes in the midst of chaos when everything seems to collapse, and yet within you, a strange peace arises, saying, do not fear, love is here. These are moments when the field is opening itself to you. Do not ignore them. They are invitations. Modern life teaches you to constantly compare, to be better, smarter, faster, more correct than others. But comparison is poison to the soul. It keeps you trapped in the game of right and wrong. The field is where comparison dies. There, you do not ask, am I better than this person? Am I worse? You simply belong. And when you belong, you are free. A great Sufi once said, the real Kaaba is the heart. If you want to circumambulate, walk around the heart of your brother. What a radical vision. The true worship is not only in ritual, but in the recognition of the divine in every heart. And how can you see the divine in another if you are obsessed with their rightness or wrongness? Only when you step into the field of love can you see God shining through them, regardless of their state. Now, let us reflect on the phrase itself. Beyond right and wrong, there is a field. Notice how Rumi says, there is. He does not say, there might be, or perhaps there is. He declares it with certainty. This field is not an idea. It is a reality. It exists whether you see it or not. It is the eternal mercy of God, always present, always open. The question is not whether the field exists, but whether you will choose to enter it. And then comes the promise, I'll meet you there. This is not merely poetic. This is the voice of a master saying, you are not alone in your journey. I will walk with you. I will meet you in that place where all masks fall away. Imagine that for a moment. Rumi, with his burning heart, waiting for you in that field, ready to embrace you, not as a sinner or a saint, but as a soul beloved by God. Do you feel how comforting this is? You do not have to arrive alone. The saints, the lovers, the prophets, they are all gathered in that field. And most importantly, the one who is love itself is there. That is why the heart longs for it so deeply. You were created for that meeting. But perhaps you ask, how can I live in this field while still moving through the world with its endless divisions and demands? The answer is simple yet difficult. Live with one foot in the field. Carry its spaciousness into your daily life. When someone accuses you, do not rush to defend. When someone praises you, do not cling to it. Remember, both belong to the world of right and wrong. Smile gently and keep your heart in the openness of the field. Think of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. When he was mocked, he did not retaliate with anger. When he was praised, he did not become proud. His heart was anchored in the field of divine presence. That is why he could embody mercy, for he was not chained by the categories of men. He lived in the field while walking in the marketplace. This is your invitation too. Do not think this field is far. It is nearer than your jugular vein. It is the stillness in your breath, the silence in your heart. When you let go of judgment, of yourself and others, for even a moment, you taste it. That taste is enough to guide you, to keep you walking, until you one day realize you are no longer visiting the field. You are living in it. And when you live in the field, everything changes. Wrongdoings of others no longer disturb you, for you see them as children stumbling on their way. Your own mistakes no longer haunt you, for you know they are threads in the tapestry of your becoming. Life itself ceases to be a battlefield and instead becomes a garden where the beloved walks with you. Rumi once said, "Try to accept the changing seasons of your heart, even as you would the changing seasons passing over the fields." Do you see? Even your sorrow, your loss, your mistakes, they are seasons. They are not forever. Beyond them, there is always renewal. And in the field of love, every winter turns to spring. So I ask you now, can you let go? Can you put down the heavy burden of being right? Can you stop torturing yourself for being wrong? Can you simply walk into the openness where love itself is the only truth? This is not weakness. This is courage. For it takes great courage to surrender the mind's need for certainty and to rest in the mystery of God's love.
And when you do, you will discover something astonishing. The field is not only a place of peace, but a place of strength. For in that openness, you are no longer tossed by every judgment, every praise, every criticism. You are rooted in love, and love makes you unshakable. This is the secret of the Sufis. They walk in the world, but they live in the field. They work, they pray, they suffer, they rejoice, but in all of it, their hearts remain in the vastness beyond right and wrong. That is why they radiate peace. That is why their words pierce the soul, even centuries later. And now, my friend, I invite you, step into the field, even if only for a moment. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and whisper, "Oh, beloved, I am tired of dividing. Take me beyond right and wrong. Meet me in your field." And then, let go. Feel the stillness that arises. That stillness is the field. If you have felt this, even a little, I encourage you, share it. Leave a comment below. Write, "I am walking into the field of love." Let these words be your declaration, your offering, for when you speak it, you are already stepping deeper into it. And if this journey speaks to your soul, do not walk alone. Subscribe to this channel, because we are walking together. You and I, and all seekers, are meeting in the same field. Here, you are never alone. Here, we belong to the same love. As we close, I want you to carry one truth in your heart. You are not defined by your rights or your wrongs. You are defined by the love that breathes through you. The beloved is waiting, always waiting, in that vast meadow beyond judgment. And one day, perhaps tonight, perhaps in this very moment, you will find yourself lying down in that grass, at peace, at home. And there, in the silence, you will know you are already met. Rest in that knowing, walk in that peace, and remember, beyond right and wrong, love is always waiting. There is something more I wish to share with you, something that brings this journey closer to completion, as if the circle of Rumi's words must be fully drawn. You see, when he spoke of that field beyond right and wrong, he was not erasing morality, nor dismissing the path of discernment. He was pointing to something subtler, something that arises after you have walked the valleys of judgment and crossed the mountains of doubt. There is a station where the soul no longer clings to labels, where the heart has learned to trust the beloved so deeply that even the opposites dissolve. And it is there, in that hidden meadow, that your soul rests like a child in the arms of the infinite. Perhaps you have felt this in fleeting moments, a sunset that made you forget your worries, a piece of music that pulled you out of time, a glance from someone you love that silenced all your inner arguments. In that instant, you were in the field. You were already there. You tasted a drop of the ocean Rumi speaks about. The mind might later return and say, but was it right? Was it wrong? Was it deserved? Yet in the moment itself, none of that mattered. You were simply held. You were free. This is why Yunus Emre once said, I did not come here to argue. I came here to love. What does this mean if not that love is wider than logic, vaster than debate, softer than all the weapons we sharpen with our tongues? In modern life, we are taught to always defend, to always explain, to always prove. But there is another way: to love without needing to win, to give without needing to measure, to trust without needing to control. And this is the heart of surrender. Many fear surrender, thinking it is weakness, thinking it is defeat. But surrender, in the Sufi way, is not about giving up. It is about opening up. It is not about losing yourself. It is about finding the self that is vast, radiant, and eternal. When you step into that field beyond right and wrong, you are stepping into surrender. And in that surrender, paradoxically, you find a strength that no battlefield of arguments could ever give you. I know life can press heavily upon you. Maybe right now you are caught between choices. Maybe you have been told you are wrong, or perhaps you are convinced you are right and cannot understand why others do not see it. This struggle eats at the heart. But the teaching here is not to deny the struggle, not to pretend it does not exist. The teaching is to remember that beyond the struggle, there is a space where you are more than the argument, more than the opinion, more than even the outcome. And in that remembering, your soul breathes again. Let me tell you a small story. Once, two dervishes argued about a point of scripture. They argued for hours until their voices grew hoarse and their hearts grew cold.
Finally, an elder walked past and asked them, "Why do you fight?" One said, "Because I am right and he is wrong." The other said, "No, I am right and he is wrong." The elder smiled gently and said, "Both of you are right and both of you are wrong, but neither of you are in the field where God is." And then he walked away. In that silence, the two dervishes realized how much time they had wasted, and they embraced. That embrace was worth more than the victory of an argument. My friend, sometimes you will lose an argument, but gain peace. Sometimes you will be misunderstood, but gain clarity within. Sometimes you will walk away from the noise and find a deeper music in your own heart, and that is worth more than being right. Now imagine your own life as a field. Every judgment you hold, every resentment you carry is like a stone you place upon it. After a while, the field becomes heavy, crowded, and dry. But when you let go, when you forgive, when you step beyond, the grass grows again, the flowers return, the breeze becomes soft. This is the field that Rumi invites you to. A field not of rules, but of remembrance, not of comparison, but of compassion, not of fear, but of freedom. And so I ask you, are you ready to meet yourself in that place? Are you ready to step beyond the armor of being right, beyond the prison of being wrong, into the vast meadow where only love remains? It is not far. It is closer than your breath. It is hidden in the silence between your thoughts. It is waiting for you, even now. If your heart stirs at these words, let it be a sign. Let it be the whisper of the beloved calling you home. And if you feel it, if you sense that longing, I invite you to share it. Write in the comments, "I am stepping into the field of love." Let these words be your witness, your offering, your seed in the garden of this path. And remember, you are not alone. If this journey nourishes your soul, stay with us. Subscribe to this channel, not out of habit, but as a way of walking together, hand in hand, heart in heart. Because on this path, your light matters, your voice matters, your presence matters. So breathe deeply now. Let the weight of right and wrong fall from your shoulders. Feel the ground beneath you soften. The meadow is here. The beloved is here. And you are home.